It's Saturday, February 13th, which means last night was Friday Night Smackdown. Who's Roman Reigns gonna face at the Elimination Chamber? What's his big announcement? Did Bianca Belair decide who she's gonna face at WrestleMania? Find out right now in this Minimalistic review. SmackDown started off with Roman Reigns coming to the ring and reminding us all that he's the sun and we all revolve around him. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. He's then informed by Adam Pearce, who is also in the ring, that he will be defending the Universal Championship inside the Elimination Chamber, much like Drew McIntyre is doing with the WWE Championship. Roman then laughs along with Paul Heyman and then hands the mic to Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, after rambling off a bunch of technical mumbo-jumbo about Reigns' contract, tells Adam Pearce that he will not be defending the championship inside the Elimination Chamber match, but rather he will face whoever wins the Elimination Chamber match right after the Elimination Chamber match for the Universal Championship. He then uses some leverage, saying that last year was the worst attended WrestleMania ever, and it was because Roman Reigns was not there. That's pretty brilliant and pretty hilarious. Pearce responds by saying, okay, well, there will be some qualifying matches tonight then, and then there's two men that he doesn't think needs qualifying matches, and he's going to enter in automatically, and one being Kevin Owens, the other one being Jey Uso. Roman gets in his face very scarily, and then Paul Heyman calms him down and gets him out of Pearce's face. Let's go. Big video package for Seth Rollins' return coming later in the night. Cool. Backstage, Pearce runs into Sonya Deville trying to brainstorm up some qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber. Deville comes up with the idea of using the tag team match that's coming up to be a qualifier, and the winners of the tag team match are both entered into the Elimination Chamber. That match was between Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, and the Mysterios. Sami Zayn comes down and cuts an extra long promo about the injustice that he and Corbin are facing, and that they don't normally see eye to eye, but tonight they're fighting for the same cause, and they will get it done. Normally I like Sami Zayn's promos, but this one was extra long. The match kicks off, nothing special here, but Corbin and Sami Zayn win to punch their ticket into the Elimination Chamber match. Backstage, SmackDown Tag Team Champions Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler are asking to be entered into the Elimination Chamber for free, in which Deville says, you can get in if you can beat the tag team of Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. With this, that sets up all the potential qualifiers for the Elimination Chamber match, and I like the idea of them killing two birds with one stone twice. That's like 4 birds. That's like a massacre. Kind of sucks that Nakamura's not involved in this whole thing, seeing as how he did get screwed out of the gauntlet match that he won. More on Nakamura later. Backstage, Reginald runs into Sasha Banks and hands her a glass of champagne that looked a little extra fizzy for my liking. Back in the ring, Big E, the Intercontinental Champion, recaps his triple threat match last week with Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews. He tosses in a couple of pop culture references and then says the Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews chapter in his life is done and he's moving on to the next challenger. He's wrong, because Apollo Crews interrupts and says, hey, I was the best at losing to you a bunch of times, so I should get another chance at the championship. Big E just dismisses him, tells him to go back to catering, and that he's going to fight his next challenger, which turns out to be Shinsuke Nakamura. It's like a consolation prize for not being in the Elimination Chamber qualifiers. The match was fine. It only went a couple of minutes before Apollo Crews, of course, came in, interfered, drop-kicking Big E, giving him the win via DQ. I guess we're going to get another Apollo Crews Big E Intercontinental Championship match. Yay. Another big video package for Seth Rollins' return, and after it airs, the entire SmackDown locker room heads to ringside surrounding the ring. Seth Rollins comes out with his Burn It Down music, but dressed up as the Messiah still. Very interesting. He comes down to the ring, says becoming a new father has changed him and given him a brand new perspective on life. But in true Seth Rollins fashion, he was just trolling everybody and says that he is the father figure and the leader that the rest of the SmackDown locker room needs, and he can lead us all into the future if they just drink the Kool-Aid or something like that. I forgot what he said. Such a good troll by Seth Rollins. As he's rambling, the entire locker room leaves ringside, except for one man, Cesaro, who stares him down and basically says, nah man, this ain't it, and then walks off. As he's leaving, Seth Rollins attacks him from behind, putting in jeopardy his Elimination Chamber qualifying match later in the night. Bayley defeated Liv Morgan when Billie Kay, once again trying to do the right thing, gets blamed for the Riot Squad losing. Street Profits defeated Otis and Gable in a fun little tag match. I'd like to see the Alpha Academy getting some wins soon, as I do like their entertainment value, and I think they could add something very good to the tag team division with some wins, and possibly a title run. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair both come down to the ring and have some friendly back and forth before they're interrupted by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. The women's tag team champions are wondering why nobody's talking about them becoming the 2-time women's tag team champions, and all everybody wants to talk about is who Bianca Belair is going to face at WrestleMania. I can tell you why, but I think everybody already knows. Banks then replays their losses to Naomi and Lana from last week, and also the Nia Jax whole incident much to the tag team champions' embarrassment. Nia and Shayna had enough. They attack Sasha and Bianca Belair and start a brawl that of course leads to another Nia Jax My Whole incident. It was pretty funny last week. I hope they don't beat it into the ground because I think they already did by just doing it one more time this week. Banks and Belair eventually get the upper hand and send the tag team champs scurrying. I really love Bianca. I really love Sasha. They look like absolute stars all the time, but this was a pretty pointless segment. And in the main event, Cesaro and Daniel Bryan defeat Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to advance to the Elimination Chamber match. The match was very good, of course. All four of these men can work, but the ending is what this all really was about. After the match, Corbin and Zayn are standing ringside, kind of taunting the winners, and then out of nowhere, Jey Uso pops out with a steel chair, smacks Cesaro, and then a brawl ensues. As the babyfaces are getting their butts kicked, out of nowhere, Kevin Owens' music hits. He comes down, stuns Corbin, stuns Bryan, stuns Cesaro, stuns Uso, stuns the world, stun Owens, stun, much to the annoyance of Roman Reigns, who's watching backstage with Paul Heyman. Kevin Owens sets up a chair right in front of the camera and says, "I'm coming for you, Roman," as the show goes off the air. I really enjoyed this episode of Smackdown. It seemed to get back on track after the last 2 weeks were kind of falling off. We had stuff that mattered, even though it was a weird approach to some of them, but they still mattered, and that's what I care about. I want my pro wrestling to matter. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment, tell me what you think of the show, and tell me what you think is going to happen at the Elimination Chamber next Sunday. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, and I'll see you after NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. Peace.